So, I think I've done a decent job balancing, right? So, right now we have a 108% chance to trigger effects on our custom weapons, right? And that is thanks to essentially going all in on luck. So, we have 64 of these emerald clusters in our satchel, so we're getting a 32% bonus there, a 64% bonus from the other one. Our armor is leather, so this gives the highest luck bonus. And then we also have coastal plating, which is giving us the 10 luck. And utility trimming? No, what are we calling it? Utility tinkering. Okay, so using all of those metrics, right, we end up at 108%. So you really have to go hard into luck if you again want guaranteed on hit effects. So I think in that regard it is balanced nicely, right? Because right now our armor total is 16% and our armor toughness is 0. Right, we're not tanky at all, but the upside is we can obviously use all of our custom weapons to their full ability. Right, so all that in mind should make it fairly easy to now show off our weapons. So up next we have the Celestial Affinity, which we did show off previously, the sprinting and the sneaking, although I've tweaked it a little. Right, we have 5 weapons. Why do I feel like I'm missing one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I'm miscounting. We do have all 6, right? So we have chance on block, chance on attack, defeating mobs, sneaking, sprinting, and when we take damage. Okay, so the sneak was like a trail of stars. It is now a little, sorry, not sneak, the sprinting was trail of stars. Now it's a little bit different, right? So we leave these clouds, and anyone in these clouds is getting bombarded with the stars. So Celestial now essentially leaves these pools of glowing particles that if there's mobs, if there's players, if there's anything in them, they're going to then trigger these other effects, these star effects. So every time a star hits an entity, right, we're getting a bunch of random effects. You get bombarded by a lot of them. Obviously, they all stack up. I might have to tweak the rate at which they fall, because it seems like you end up with all of the status effects straight away, right? You end up just getting hit by a ton of them. Interesting. But onto the weapons. So we have block, attack. We will stick this in a order we can think about. The sneak. Right, we'll do that first. So sneaking, right, is a ground pound like normal. Automatically hits with the stars any entities nearby. It doesn't leave a pool. Well, but obviously the downside is we ourselves got hits. That one did quite a lot. Yeah, I think I need to tweak the stars. I think they're a little too powerful at the moment. Okay, so that's sneaking. We already did sprinting. We'll go over the weapon models too at the end. So now we have on attack, defeating mobs, and then taking damage and blocking, which will have to end up going into survival. Right, so well, it's daytime. We'll need our husk friends to help us out. Summon a bunch of them, and we'll get swinging. Right, so we've got our Celestial Sword. It hits, leaves that little pool, and any entities that walk into it are now getting bombarded with stars. Well, I think something, what's triggering it? Are they, you know why it's duplicating? I think the stars themselves are triggering more stars to fall, right? So every star is causing a duplicate star, so it really escalates, and that's why we get the bombardment of a ton of effects. Okay, so I do need to tweak that a little, and it is, oh, we have weakness. I dislike that weakness doesn't trigger attack still, right? At high levels, it's just like you're swinging at nothing. But yeah, so it leaves a little pool in front of us, and then of course it still triggers that affinity bonus. The affinity bonus in itself leaves more pools, though with a much quicker, shorter duration. That's what I'm trying to say. A quicker dispersal. Yeah, there we go. Chemical terms. Okay, so that's on hits. Then we have on defeating a mob, which is essentially the same thing. Right, if we can finally get this guy. I always put on the worst weapons too. There we go. Much better. Did not trigger anything, I think. Right? Interesting. I did not trigger anything. We're still at 100%. Yeah? We're still at 100%. Let's up the damage on the weapon. Or actually, just give us a different weapon. A weapon we can actually use. We'll go with a... what's the... I think it's mob... That word, right? Oh, glacial. So I did end up adding a 12th affinity as well, but we're talking about Celestial for now. So Celestial, and we want an axe since it's the highest damage. There we go, that's better. Chance on defeating mobs. Right, let's make sure this is working. Hit you. How many hits? Curious. Like, I will need to double check this one. Right. Usually the on defeat are like AoE effects to trigger, but it looks like it's not working at all. So chalk that up to something I need to adjust and edit, which is the whole reason we do these videos, so that I can figure out exactly what I do need to fix. Let's just see. Yeah, so it's missing from the list. Perfect. So that one is for me to do. We'll move on to blocking and taking damage. You know what, we'll just double check that the functions are actually there, because they should be. Weapon, we want block, celestial, perfect, and damage. Damage celestial is not there. Okay, let me fix things up, adjust the stars as well, and then we'll continue going over them. Right, much better. All accounted for, so we should be able to swing our axe now and actually get a effect trigger. We'll go to F5 because it should do some AoE stuff. Right, so it's... I don't know if you can really tell. It did the little particle effect around us, the glow particle. There we go. Just get it. And we get haste, and I think you get levels of luck out of it. And then it also does... What am I trying to say? Causes the trigger. I need a word. I'm dubbing it Starfall, right? The little area effect there. Right, on any entities nearby. So for instance, he was in range, so he dropped down a little Starfall particle effect where he was then bombarded with stars. Though he was actually lucky, he didn't seem to get any of the really bad effects. Like that. Yes, okay, so this one definitely has some friendly fire possibility, right? Or some self-harm, more or less. Okay, that is defeat. Then we have block and damage, so we might as well come over here. Go game mode, survival. We have tons of health, so that's fine. Block, right? So in front of us, it lays out the particle effect. I think they're a bit too big, the clouds, though. That's a lot of stars falling. I mean, it's good for crowd control, right? I guess the block is quite powerful. And then the taking damage. That was interesting. Ooh, we got bumped. What's going on with the stars, right? It's because I've angled them. That's the issue. They have weakness now, so they can't do damage. Right, so they're angled to come from that way, to give them, you know, a little bit of directionality, so they look like they're falling, not just straight down. And because of that, we can get hit, kind of, sometimes. I don't mind the on damage. Again, things are not balanced around being able to achieve 100%. So 100% seems a bit overpowered. The big one, probably really check in that regard, is the attacking. Is there any husk left? No, we're all done. We'll go back to creative then. Right, we'll grab out some more husks. Ooh, bucket spell. Place them all around. Right, this leaves the biggest area cloud that also lasts the longest. So I think on average they're 3-second clouds normally, whereas this is a 5-second cloud. So I hope I'm balancing them correctly, but sometimes it kind of feels like the on damage or the blocking effects are a little bit stronger than everything else. Yeah. Anyway, leave it be, because I should probably explain, right? So the big thing is I don't just want to give the player, you know, X effects when they take damage. I still want it to be in line with the other effects. So for instance, obviously the Starfall mechanic, but then the fact that they give the player, you know, buffs as well as doing the Starfall damage makes them seem stronger than just the on-hit effect or anything like that. Anyway, hopefully that is fairly decent. I do actually still have to tweak the Starfall. Right, it is definitely duplicating, that's why we're getting clusters. Because like, you should only get one effect per star, the way I have it set. Anyway, we will now take a look at the weapons. Right, so I'll put them all in our inventory, we don't need that twice. We can take a look at the models. The clipping, the more I think about it, I don't quite understand what's going on. Right, so you can see there's one pixel that's clipping. Sometimes, depending on your rotation too, that's the really weird thing. Chat, right? Yeah, so here there's a little bit of clipping, then up here there was a lot of clipping. But obviously it's not constant, and it's in really random spots, at least it seems to me. I thought it was when we're overlapping the textures, but there's overlap here, there's overlap in a lot of places, and it's not always reflecting. Like there's overlap here, and here, and they're not always, you know, glitching out like that. Right, even at the top here, it's kind of weird because you've got 2 spots glitching, 3 spots glitching. Right, you have here, here, and here. I guess the bottom half as well. Well, I guess it is. It is all the regions where it overlaps, sort of. But sometimes it's worse than other areas. I don't know. I can redo all the models manually. It'd be sort of a pain, right? And still make it work. I do like the customization. It's just a little annoying that they are kind of clippy. Anyway, we've got the sword, Celestial. The issue I have now is the color palette doesn't really match the Starfall mechanic, right? But in terms of Celestial color schemes, this is what I think of. I don't think of the Nether Stars. I think of like blues to purples. And I do like the color palette and obviously the design, right? The hoe here is more of like a tomahawk, right? Little small axe. Then we have the shovel. Then we have the actual axe, pickaxe, and then the fishing rod claw, right? You can still hook with. They're the main weapons and the models. Anyway, that's Celestial done. How many left to go is that? There's 12 now, so that's 10. Oof. Hope you enjoyed. See ya.